Hi there, welcome to Neppy Invests. So today's video, I'm doing a video on Clover Corporation. Now, they did have a profit, actually it was more of a revenue downgrade yesterday on the 21st of October. Because of that revenue downgrade, the share price did decrease by 14%. And because of that, and also because they're now in a definite share price downtrend, I've decided to put them on my turnaround watch list. So my turnaround watch list is simply those companies that are going through a hard time, the share price is decreasing, and I'm waiting for some signs of the business or the share price turning around. Ideally, I'd like to see the financials and the share price turn around at the same time, exactly what Costa Group is doing now. But I think Warren Buffett said that turnarounds seldom turn, which I don't think is exactly true because I've seen it a lot, especially in the materials sector. So mining companies tend to be, of their share price and the business and the financials, are highly dictated by what's happening with the boom bust cycle of the metals or the materials. And we can see the share price of those mining companies just go into these waves. And if you can time the buy and sell perfectly with the waves, then you'll see a fair bit of value added to your portfolio. But anyway, what does Clover Corporation do and why am I following them now? So they're into micro encapsulation. So what the hell is micro encapsulation? Well, probably the easiest way to describe microencapsulation is every morning I give my dogs 2 fish oil capsules. Apparently it makes their coat all shiny. And that's exactly what Clover Corporation do, is they take that fish oil, they put it in their capsule, and then they sell it to someone who sells it to you. So where do they fit in the supply chain? Just on this left-hand side here is just something from one of their presentations. And you can see where they fit in the supply chain here is they take the product from the source, get the product, put it into a capsule, and they sell it on to like supermarkets or pharmacies who then sell it on to you. For those people who are more visual people, just put a little bit of a picture of a capsule there. So you've got the oil within the capsule, and that's all I've got here for those visual people. The other thing here is I just want to talk about the DHA and why it's important. So DHA is a product they have, and it's very important behind sort of the tailwinds behind this company moving forward. So what is DHA? It's just simply omega-3 fatty acid, and it's just essential for brain development during pregnancy and early childhood. And the reason why it's now sort of a tailwind for Clover Corporation is they provide sort of the DHA powder for infant formula, and the European Union have just announced in February 2020 that the concentrations of DHA within infant formula must be 2 to 3 times higher than it has been. So that's definitely a tailwind for Clover Corporation because they provide a powder, or the DHA powder, for that. And DHA also has some other health benefits. So I have no doubt that because the European Union have added these new regulations to infant formula, that other countries will follow suit, or other regions will follow suit. I even think that China is following suit, if I remember correctly. So that's some tailwinds behind Clover Corporation. I've got a slide coming up which will actually prove that. So now looking at the financials, so their market cap increased quite a bit between 2017 and 19. In fact, went from $76 million to $383 million. If you just look at the revenue by itself, that sort of justifies that increase in market cap. And we're seeing compounded annual growth rates of 24% from 2015 to 2020. So it's increased from 30 million to almost 90 million. The one concern for me was the operating cash flow, which is OPCF here. So at one point it was negative, and it's only got to 4.1 and then 4.8 and 6.7. So I didn't like that growth rates. The 6.7 doesn't really justify the market cap. So the main reason I did sell out of this company, I was a holder for a very short period of time, about 3 or 4 years ago, was just because I wasn't liking what I saw with the increasing operating cash flow. And I don't think it really justified the market cap. So I think the operating cash flow had a lot of room to move before it sort of met the valuations. And operating cash flow is something I really look at hard. So a lot of people don't look at it as hard as I do. So that's a very important metric for me. Some of the other metrics here. So PE ratio is 23 and net profit after tax 12.5. The one thing I look for here is the enterprise value divided by the operating cash flow, and that's at 45.7. That's quite high for a company like Clover Corporation. For instance, for value companies or value plays, I look for EV over operating cash flow less than 6 or less than 10. When talking about growth companies, I'm looking at something 20 to 30 or so. So this is sort of a EV over operating cash flow that you would find in a high growth company. I don't think Clover Corporation quite fits into that category. As I mentioned, there is proof that these new regulations in regards to infant formula standards is sort of a tailwind behind Clover Corporation. And all you have to do is look at EU sales growth from 2019 to 2020. So it's doubled, and they've confirmed that it's these new IF standards or infant formula standards that is behind that growth. So if we see these new standards implemented around the rest of the world, we could see the increase in sales be quite substantial in other locations as well, which would be fairly significant for Clover Corporation. Now, in the previous outlook, they did mention that they were maybe not concerned, but there was that possibility that the increase in revenue or demand behind their products in quarter 3, quarter 4 could have been just people stockpiling their product. And if they're stockpiling their product, that could be or lead to suppressed demand in the first half of this financial year. And the update they'd released on the 21st of October, that date's wrong, is sort of confirmation that's what's happened. And they now expect revenue to be 15 to 25% less in this first half financial year than the previous first half of last financial year. So that's why the share price decreased by 14% on the 21st of October. So I'm just looking at the 3-year weekly chart here, and this is sort of a shift in trends. This is what you're looking at here. So this thick orange line here is the uptrend, and that corresponds, if you look at the start of this uptrend, with these really big high volume green days, which suggests there's a lot of buying on these high volume up days, which probably indicates there is some funds buying in at that point. So it just shows you that volume is very important. When you see these little spikes in volume on up days, that's actually quite important for sustaining the uptrend. And conversely, in the new downtrend, which is signified by this thick blue line, where instead of seeing these big green volume spikes, we're seeing big red volume spikes, which suggests that there might be some funds selling out, which is helping the downtrend remain intact. The 1-year daily chart also confirms we're in a downtrend. So we're seeing the share price going from the top left to bottom right, and that's all you need to know for a downtrend. Probably the other thing I want to mention here is this false breakout. So you could think the share price was breaking out. We had 3 big up days there, but the up days was corresponded to really low volume, wasn't spikes in volume. So I would probably say that's low confidence. So there's not much confidence in the breakout. So that was a false breakout. And just after that false breakout, we saw a breakout on the other side, and that was met with really high volume or higher than average volume, which suggested that was a real breakout to the downside. And we've actually had that confirmed now with this profit or revenue downgrade, which now we're into a new downtrend, looks like. So at the moment, there's no point me or anyone really buying this unless you're just a value investor who doesn't look at charts, just looks at share price and valuations. What I'm looking for now is signs that the 1-year daily chart is going to turn around and develop a new uptrend. This could take a while to play out. It could take a few months, a few years or whatnot, but I'll definitely have Clover Corporation on my watch list moving forward. So that's all I got for this video of Clover Corporation. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm only doing these videos for educational, entertainment, and research purposes. If you want to leave any comments, maybe I've got something wrong or whatnot, if you want something clarified, just leave it in the comment section and I'll try to reply to it as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you need professional advice, make sure you seek out a professional, because I'm not a professional. No matter if I sound professional, I'm definitely not. And that's all I've got for this video, so have a good day. See ya.